Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Today I'm going to be reacting to 0 to full-time programming in 5 steps. But before we get started, make sure you smash the like button for the YouTube algorithm and please consider subscribing. Yeah, let's begin.
Come January of 2022, I will have been programming professionally for 6 years. I can't help but think back to those early days and realize just how lost I was. And I often find myself asking the question, if I had to start over with what I know about programming today, how would I go about it? With that being said, here are my 5 steps to go from 0.
That's like the main question that everyone has, right? Because like, I don't know about what happened in other countries, but in the UK, like to become a software engineer or like to study computer science at university, there isn't like a direct path or like there isn't a guided path from GCSE to A levels, because most people just do maths, and like maths is one of the requirements to enter university, and you just have to do maths at A levels to do computer science as a university degree. But it would be easy, and I would recommend doing a computer science GCSE and an A level. That's what I did, and it was very difficult because I had to change school, and not every school did it. Like even in my area, there's like 6 grammar schools in my area, and there's only like 1 grammar school that does computer science, so it depends of that.
Full-time software developer. Step 1, language. People tend to get hung up on the best language to learn.
Also, like, don't worry about the best language, just make sure you learn one language fully, because as I always mention, just having that strong foundation, a strong backbone to your coding skills, isn't it? If you have a strong backbone, you could do anything from that.
Pick the most optimal language, the one that's going to for sure get us a job in the future. We want the most bang for our buck when learning how to code or just learning a new skill.
Well, the most popular languages are Java and Python in the 21st century, so I would recommend starting with that.
In general, from an evolution
or like becoming professional in that
standpoint, this makes sense. As our ultimate goal in life is to survive, we've evolved to preserve as much energy as possible while satisfying our need to please the reward center of our brain. So don't beat yourself up too much for being lazy. It just means your body is doing what it's supposed to do. But because we generally want the most bang for our buck, and due to the nature of the abundant amount of information out there, it is easy to get lost in analysis paralysis when trying to figure out where to start.
And the most the most annoying thing is that everyone is just looking down towards you. It's like, if you're not doing anything, it's like, why aren't you doing anything? Like, you should do something with your life. It's like, don't worry about that, just do something, like enjoy life rather than being pressured into doing something.
What often happens is that we overthink the starting point so much that we end up making zero progress. But here's the
main thing is, like, even if you don't know where to start, just do some maths questions. Just build your maths fundamental, like the foundation or the maths fundamental, because everything, like the thing I believe is like everything inspired from maths, like everything could be described as in mathematical models. So it's better if you just do learn maths fully, and you could always build something upon it. Like I did a maths A levels and a physics A levels, so from that I could do engineering, any engineering thing, any engineering topics, any science topics, any natural science topics, any computer science topics, any maths topics, any of that, because I have a mathematical foundation or a mathematical background.
It's better to do less than you hoped for than nothing at all. Even if you told me you want to learn COBOL in 2022, I would say go for it. Is it an obsolete language? Yeah. Are there many jobs that want COBOL developers?
No.
Nah. But the thing is, learning COBOL will get you closer to your end goal,
and also learning something new isn't always a bad thing, because you could always interline something that you learned to something that's new, and you could apply what you learned from that into something that's new, and you could always pick up that new thing quicker because you're basing it on something that you already previously learned.
Starting at all. That initial momentum is the most important, however, usually the hardest. This is why it is
like your momentum should be
not overthink that starting point and just dive in. But if I could go back in time and slap my 20-year-old self in the face with something, it would definitely be a JavaScript book. I would learn JavaScript, and I'd become really good at it. My reasoning? Not only has JavaScript ranked the most commonly used programming language for 9 years in a row with over 60,
and it's the most useful for front-end developers, because everything is done using JavaScript in front-end.
% of the developer market using JavaScript as their primary language, according to this Stack Overflow survey. But with JavaScript,
well, let's see the languages I know. So I know JavaScript, Python, SQL, Java, Node.js, I know a bit. TypeScript, I have no idea. C#, yes. Bash/shell, no. C++, yes. PHP, no. C, no. PowerShell, yes. Go, no. Kotlin, yeah. Rust, no. Ruby, I did like one lesson out of my grammar school introduction. It's like a introduction program they did Ruby, so it's not like it's not hard, but it's like, I don't know, really. Dart, yeah, because I did Flutter for iOS and Android development. Assembly now. So I know most of it, but my first language was Java, so I just built all these languages from Java. I just linked everything I know from that.
You can essentially become a full stack developer with this one language. Some of the most used front-end frameworks in the technical market use JavaScript, React, Vue, Angular, and with Node, a back-end JavaScript runtime environment.
Which is
You're
JavaScript.
able to write server-side back-end code with this language. Not only that, but cross-platform mobile application development with JavaScript has become a very viable option in today's market thanks to React Native. So with one language, you're able to write front-end websites, back-end server-side code, and mobile applications. I do believe JavaScript is the most practical language for finding a job in today's market, but take that with a grain of salt.
Or to become a freelancer, because when you're like 15 or under 16, you could always work at, was it Fiverr or something like that, and just work as a freelancer and earn some extra side money, or start like a side hustle where you could earn some and build like an application or web application just using JavaScript. So yeah.
And learn whatever interests you. Perhaps that would be C# for game dev, Kotlin Swift for mobile dev, or Python for data science. Your first language is never your last, and as I've mentioned multiple times on this channel,
as I always mention,
principles behind coding.
Same as with me, like as I mentioned every single like computer science related videos, I always mention just learn language fully and have a strong foundation from that, right?
Aren't built into programming languages, which you will soon find out after you take that dive. Step 2, the beginning. This is the beginning, and the beginning is often the hardest part. You need momentum, and you need to get into the mindset of a programmer. You need to write code every single day for the immediate future. And this may seem difficult, especially if you have a busy schedule, but we often fail to learn a new skill because we set our expectations way too high. I'm going to use every free moment I have to learn this new thing. This is something that I often tell myself when I'm excited in the moment. But when it comes time to sit down and study that 1 to 2.
Or do like 30 minutes a day. Learn how to spend like hours and hours. But yeah, when you get and start off, it's always better to like practice. It's like same with playing an instrument. It's like you're gonna get better playing a piano or guitar if you practice every day, and like it's better that way as well.
3-hour time block starts to look like a lot of work. So my advice is to start small. Really small.
So start with like a 10-minute.
It's almost impossible to mess this up. Days 0 through 7, start for 5 minutes. Only sit down and learn how to code for 5 minutes every day. How hard is that?
Well, with that, just with 5 minutes, don't just start coding. I think it's better just to understand like the concept of computer science. So get like a computer science textbook and just read through like computer architecture, software architecture, all of the was a concept behind it. Then afterwards, you can start applying that into program or into real life.
The first week, progressively overload your learning sessions for 5 minutes every week to every couple of days. In the beginning, if you tell yourself you're only going to sit down and study code for 5 minutes, it won't be hard to get into that rhythm. And once you get into that rhythm, it'll be hard.
Then you will start liking it, or you will start loving it, because the more you spend time on it, you will start to achieve like stuff from coding or programming, and you was like, oh, if I could do this, I could go beyond and do something else, and if I could do that, I could go beyond again and create an entire system that's not in the market and like target, and it will target a specific market where I can make some profit from that, or will be useful to the gap in the market.
Stop. So where do you start learning? For the next few months, start with basic syntax. Learn variables, functions, conditions, loops, classes, objects. Follow along with free resources such as
like the things that you mentioned is like the most valuable things, because even if you ask like a senior developer or a most experienced thing, they will still use those things. And like if you don't, like you have to use it. It's like the alphabet. Like if you don't know the alphabet, you can't write any words. It's basically like that.
Free Code Camp or Code Academy. This is where you need to get your coding reps in. Code, compile, code, compile, code, compile. Step 3.
And also debug to see if it works.
Time to take it to the next level. You may not feel like you're ready, but you're never going to feel like you're ready. Find someone to learn from. If you can in real life, great, but the reality is most people learning how to code will find it.
But that's why Google is your best friend, because you could find stuff online that's useful, and that's like so many communities where you could get inspiration from them.
Mentor online. When I say mentor, I don't mean someone that you can constantly check in with. I just mean somebody that you can learn from who is more experienced in the subject than you. Imitate from that mentor. Copy their tutorials, line for line. Be curious. Not sure what a certain piece of code is doing?
And also, like, since there's a video, or like when you're getting mentor online, you're watching like either a YouTube video or a Skillshare video or some sort of video, and when you're copying line for line, ask why I did that and change some parameters or some variables and see what would happen if you change that or something like that. Always question yourself and learn from those questions.
Let's research it. There's no rush here. This is where I want to invite you to check out.
This is your learning time, so you spend hours and hours. There's no one like rushing you into completing a task because you're not working for a company and there isn't any specific deadlines. It's just your learning time, so spend as much time as you would and grasp the concept behind everything that you learned.
The complete guide. This is a course that is on Udemy, which is the sponsor of today's video, that I've actually dived into myself. This course helped me get my bearings for React when first starting out and is taught by one of the top rated instructors on the platform, Maximilian Schwartzmuller. With 48 hours of video content, this course will take you from the basics of JavaScript to the more advanced concepts of React. React is among one of the most popular front-end libraries currently out there on the technical market. And if
React is the most popular and the most up-to-date. I think like everyone uses it. It's like, I think it's like canvas-based and object-based rather than like the whole screen. The whole canvas is like specific canvas, so it's better.
Over today in 2022, I would certainly learn React. I also believe starting with front-end development will help you get your bearings as a programmer. Having a UI in place helps you conceptualize the flow of data throughout an application, and this could really help you when first learning, especially if you're a more visual learner like myself.
So it depends on the way you as you mentioned, if you're a visual learner, it's better to start as front-end, or I start as back-end because I'm a more mathematical person. Like I like it, like I could pre-process everything in my brain, so I don't have to visualize it. I could still visualize it in my head, kind of. So yeah.
Maximilian Schwartzmuller also has a Node.js course where you can learn back-end development using JavaScript. This course will help you learn everything from the basics all the way up to the more advanced concepts of Node.js. And along the way, you will learn how to interface with some popular databases such as MongoDB and SQL. Both of these courses should.
Also, when you're doing database, I would recommend PostgreSQL as well because that's easier, I believe, and easier with Django framework in Python.
Provide you with a very solid foundation for starting your career out as a full stack developer. Again, this is the route that I would go down if I was starting over from scratch. If you would like something that's more of an all-in-one, another great course is the complete.
That's like I would agree. Like when you're starting off, it's always better to portray yourself as a full stack developer rather than a back end, a cloud, or a front end. Because if you're a full stack developer, the employer will know that you've been through it, all of the stages, like or what it's like to be a back end developer. You know what it's like to be a front end, same as what it's like to be a cloud developer. So it's better that way, and it opens you up to all those three opportunities plus that one with everything. So it gives you a higher salary bonus as well.
22 web development course by Dr. Angela Yu. Angela will take you from zero to full stack web developer, teaching you HTML, CSS, jQuery, Bootstrap, React, Node, and databases. If you're interested in any of these courses, they will be in the description below. I'm super excited to partner with Udemy as I've been using their product ever since I first started my coding journey. Now for step 4, it's to innovate. After a few months of imitating, it is time to dive into your own projects from scratch. This is the phase where
Also, this video isn't sponsored by Udemy, it's only his video. So like Udemy is a good source, but like there's no link below, so ignore that.
Learning starts, where you get stuck and you have to figure the problem out on your own without that crutch of a tutorial. Building your own projects are key when learning how to code. Don't have an idea? Doesn't matter. Take something that already exists and innovate on top of that. You're not trying to make the next Facebook, you're just trying to get your first developer job. Build a portfolio. Have a few key projects that you can really sink your teeth.
Yeah, as you meant, create loads of repositories and and create like a really attractive portfolio where employers are more engaged in more engaging and like you're showing off your skills to the employer, so it's better that way. And it's like when you're applying for a trading company, have some projects that's to do with trading or like finance and stuff. And same as if you're doing something with like whether crypto mining or anything like that, then do some project that's represent that, so they know that you actually understand. You have past experience showing like about crypto mining and all of the field that you applied for.
That demonstrate your ability to code. This portfolio is what you're going to use to market yourself, and is even more crucial if you're a self-taught programmer. Step 5, market. For the last 6 months, you've been locked in your room becoming a programmer with minimal contact from the outside world, but it's time to put yourself out there. And depending on who you are, this may be the hardest part. Build a LinkedIn, post cringy programming motivation, message people, talk to people.
That's the thing, if you have no connection, you can't move forward in life because you're just stuck in your own circle. You have to expand that circle and follow other people and gain those connections for yourself.
In the industry, message recruiters. Apply for every job you can, regardless of the requirements. Go to programming meetups. Network with people. Networking is extremely crucial. Get job interviews, bomb job interviews, a lot of them. Learn from your interview failures. Sharpen the areas you need to sharpen.
Yeah,
Finding
and
a
always
job
practice with like coding before you do the
in the
interview.
door somewhere is the final step in your ticket to making this your career. So how long will it take you to go from 0 to full-time developer? And to be honest, time is irrelevant. If you're only coding twice every 6 months, then there's no way that it can happen in a year. What matters is the amount of time you sit down and...
I don't know if that would ever happen, because if you're only coding 2 times in 6 months, you're never gonna learn or keep up to date, because you're just gonna completely forget. Coding or programming is one of the most growing technology or most growing jobs in the world, because every year, every instant, there's always new technology being out, so you have to be up to date to be competitive in the marketplace for employers to recruit you.
Actually write code. Just like we constantly have to do the same thing every day to build muscle in the gym, we got to do the same thing to build those brain muscles. Code, compile, code, compile, code.
Compile and debug for any errors. There we go. And let me skip this ad.
Jobs with Google's local services ads.
No, that's it. Yeah, well, that was a good video, I think. It's not bad. What he said is right. It's all about the time. So you just have to put as much time as you're into. It's like any other art form. It's like even when you're playing an instrument, when you're trying to draw something, it's the time that you put into or the effort that you put into. It will show off. It will pay in the end. So don't rush it. Like, don't follow the reward. The reward will follow you when you present your work or something like that. Right? It's like a teaching from me. Quote of the day. I don't know. Whatever you like. But yeah, that's it. Make sure you smash the like button for the YouTube algorithm, and please consider subscribing. That's it. Bye.